Hi and welcome to another edition of the Beer Garden. And not only have we looked at Charene on Sunday, we're also looking forward to a wonderful Saturday at Dubai. The fantastic racing there, 9-race card culminating in race number 9, the Dubai World Cup. And not only are we joined as usual by Sara, Joe and Charene, we also have the pleasure of Alistair Cohen, race caller and presenter in Dubai. How are you today?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been a very, very long week here in Dubai. All the different activities and functions that have been going on, the draw, the gala dinner, just getting everyone all into one place and getting ready. It's obviously my first Dubai World Cup. I really can't wait for it. So kind of wishing that the first race was about 5 minutes away, to be honest.
Yes, I bet. If you remember the last time we had you on the show, thanks for obviously for giving up your time as well. We had you on the show for the Super Saturday, where I represented the Beer Garden, you represented the World Challenge, and you won, of course. You won with Hookham in the Group 2 Dubai City of Gold, and of course beating my selection. Ben Doog could only finish third in the listed Al Bastakia stakes, but I thought I'd give you a chance there and just have a third place there and let you win, since it's so nice of you to turn up. So, but can I just say, Alistair, what are the conditions like for tomorrow? Obviously it's dirt and turf as well.
Okay, well, Friday was very hot, temperature touched 40 degrees here in Dubai. Expecting Saturday to be a bit cooler. It is still going to be sunny. There wasn't a breath of wind today. I don't know what it'll be like tomorrow. It can blow in snatches here in Dubai. Like I mentioned in the Super Saturday show, the prevailing wind is generally a headwind, but whether it picks up like it didn't today remains to be seen. But all in all, it'll be close to perfect conditions for racing. Maybe a little bit on the warm side, but we are in the desert after all.
Absolutely. Sounds lovely. Almost as nice as it does in Edinburgh just now in Scotland. We're having a wonderful spring here, lovely sunshine. Not as hot as Dubai, but we can't complain. So let's start. It's race number 4. The first race we look at is the Quoz Sprint, the Group 1 over the turf, the 1,200 metres or 6 furlongs. And as usual, I generally start with Sara. Who do you like in race number 4, Sara?
I like the 13, Taxi Walla. He's jumping from barrier 14. He's just shown really great form at this distance here, and he's really consistent with that front running style, which I think will really help him here, especially with the wide draw. He's great gate speed, so he can get out quick and get ahead, hopefully not get blocked here. I just think, his performances that he's been doing in Qatar have been unbelievable. So we'll see how he comes in to this race and compete with this kind of field.
Very interesting selection there, Sara. Taxi Walla, 66 to 1 you'll find here in the UK. A very nice price. Ridden by Ronan Thomas, of course, very good jockey. Was French-based, and of course he was just picked in the Prix de l'Abbé at Longchamp in October. He was riding the Corinne Barb horse, Air de Valse, who is also running tomorrow. And it was pipped that day by A Case of You in the Prix de l'Abbé. And Joe, who do you like in race number 4?
Race number 4, I took number 1, A Case of You, with Ronan Whelan, the other Ronan. So yeah, he's drawn barrier 16. So I think that you want to be on the outside. It looked like, from what I've seen, as far as going up the straight on those straight races. And he's had some couple of Group 1 success, or he has had a Group 1 win in Longchamp with the 2-year-olds and up race. And then, he went to Meydan. I think he took the turf pretty well, because, I mean, he was 4 and 8 lengths off the winner, which was Man of Promise, but second out of 16. And I think he could have a peak performance in this race, especially where he's drawn. And he's also had, also in Ireland, he's had some success there, getting a 2nd and a 3rd. So I'm going to take a chance here with the number 1, A Case of You.
Joe goes to number 1, A Case of You. A really consistent, hard-knocking horse, you could say. Won the Prix de l'Abbé, and since then he's been on his travels. He went to Del Mar and then back to Ireland, Dundalk, of course, where his native Ireland, and then just 2nd last time out, A Case of You. And as you say, Joe, I think being drawn on that side, the near side, is not a bad place to be. Alistair, who do you like in race number 4?
So Joe and Sara are spot on about their observations about the high number draws being advantageous down the Meydan straight on the turf. So I think that points things into horses that are drawn high, and I'm going to go with Man of Promise, number 10 on the card. I see no reason why anything can turn the form around with number 10 Man of Promise from Super Saturday. He was probably the most impressive winner on the card. He beat A Case of You by 4 3/4 lengths on that occasion. Now, I know that William Buick had a really, really tough time deciding who he was going to ride between Creative Force, who won on at Ascot on the 16th of October, won a Group 1 at Ascot on the 16th of October when William rode him to victory, and then Man of Promise, who's just a different horse in 2022. Charlie Appleby seems to have got to the bottom of him because there was a perception that he could only win coming out fresh, and he showed last time on Super Saturday he doesn't have to be fresh to be at his best. So I'm reading between the lines that Appleby's got to the bottom of Man of Promise. Buick's chosen Man of Promise, and I know how tough it was for him to choose between Man of Promise and Creative Force. So I'm not going to doubt them.
So Alistair goes for number 10, Man of Promise, a really solid looking bet. Charene, do you agree?
Yes, I agree with Alistair. I will also go for the 10 Man of Promise because it is good to see that he just scored 2 in a row. It is more consistent comparing with last year because last year he was inconsistent at that time. But hopefully this year, as 5-year-old, he is now becoming more and more mature and consistent. And last time out, he won it very impressively by 4.5 lengths. So this time also jumping from the wide draw, he can also racing at the near side. So I hopefully Man of Promise can score 3 in a row. So I will go for number 10 as well.
Having all decided to go for horses drawn high, I being the dunce in the outfit go for a horse called Bernoy, drawn number 4 on the far side. Bernoy, on the face of it, has a lot to do, but he's just a horse that I like. I was looking at more of an each way angle. He's an interesting horse, trained by Carlos and Jan Lerner. And I think his reappearance was also very nice at Deauville. He ran a very nice race behind Fast Raj, who is a very nice sprinter in France, trained by Jan Barbaro. But so it's more of a sort of a sentimental almost go for Bernoy. Christophe Soumillon is doing wonders in France. Great, fantastic form. And I think as a 5-year-old, I think Bernoy's at the peak of his powers. Is he up to this? Perhaps not, but it's a nice selection anyway. As you say, Man of Promise, though, does look very, very consistent, and of course Godolphin account for a quarter of the field with the likes of Creative Force, Naval Crown, and Mutafawik as well. And of course, the French also not only have Air de Valence, but also Sueza, an interesting filly who won a Group 2 at Goodwood, the King George, and she wasn't really. This wasn't really her target as such, but she was brought back to the stable on the 2nd of January, and they said if she was good enough and showing the right signs, they would take her, and they have. So she looks well with a tilt at a Group 1, and she's quite a short price too, Sueza, roughly 7-1. So just to recap, in race number 4, the Quoz Sprint, sponsored by Azizi Developments. Sarah goes for number 13, Taxiwala. Joe goes for number 1, A Case of You. Alistair and Charene are in agreement. Number 10, Man of Promise, and I'm going for a bit of a left field selection, and that is number 2, Bernoy, ridden by Christophe Soumillon. We now go to race number 6. It is the Dubai Golden Shaheen, sponsored by Atlantis Dubai. It's on the dirt. It's obviously another Group 1. It's over 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs. Sarah, who do you like?
I am going to take the 2, Dr. Scheibel. I've seen this horse plenty of times in person. The horse we have over here raced against him quite a bit. Really his last race in the Malibu. I've said it before. No one was going to beat Flightline in that race. So you could really just put a line through that race. But he's consistent. He's really talented. And I'm really hoping, for Mark Glatt to get a win here in Dubai. But great to have Flavian over there. He's an incredible jockey. He's on fire here in Southern California. I don't know what more to say about Dr. Scheibel. He's made me angry. So it's kind of ironic that I am taking him here, but I do like him. So that's the 2, Dr. Scheibel.
Dr. Scheibel for Sarah, ridden by many better jockeys in America than Flavian Pratt. Just a superb jockey. Joe, who do you go for in race number 6?
Yeah, race number 6, I went with number 10, Red Lizelle. He was in the Golden Shaheen last year and got second to Zenden. But he's raced against Cafe Pharaoh, who was one of the top 3-year-olds in Japan. So his only time off out of Japan, he went to Maidan and got a second. So especially coming out of barrier 12, he's drawn a little bit better. Number 2, he is the sire is Lord Kanaloa, who is a very popular sprinting pedigree there. And he got a 6th last time out of the February Stakes against Cafe Pharaoh again. So he's faced Cafe Pharaoh 2 times, and Cafe Pharaoh has been doing really well in Japan. Has had a race at Tokyo City Kiba, got a 3rd with Yuga Kawada. So I'm thinking that the Japanese probably could sneak in a win here. Out of the 2, Red Lizelle and Chain of Love, I would choose Red Lizelle. I think you could get a better price with him, especially having Love's only used jockey Yuta Kawada in this race. So yeah, number 10 for me, number 10, Red Lizelle.
So race number 6, Joe goes for number 10, Red Lizelle. A very good selection, as you'll find out in a few minutes, because I'll be picking him too. Ridden by Yuga Kawada. And Alistair, who do you like in race number 6?
I've tossed and turned about the Dubai Golden Shaheen and changed my mind a few times. And I'm going to commit to number 2, Dr. Shivel, but I'm a bit worried about him. He's got a bit of an awkward draw. That is not my worry. The worry is that he comes off the back of a flat run over 1,400 meters. As Sarah said, flat line looked all the rage, and Dr. Shivel, once I think the rider saw that he wasn't going to feature, I think he just eased him out the race. But I think it's going to be an American show, I must be honest. Race 6, Dr. Shivel. I wasn't sure about whether going with him or Drain the Clock. They were the last 2 that I came down, and I ended up going with Dr. Shivel because he is, after all, a Group 1 winner. And Drain the Clock, when he ran in a Group 1 on the 28th of August, over 1,400 meters, he was fairly well beaten. So I think at the level, Dr. Shivel at least has proven it. But I also have a lot of time for number 13, Wonder Where Craig is. If he was drawn in closer to the middle, I make Wonder Where Craig is probably the one to beat. But I know that I'm talking in circles. Keep it simple. Number 2, Dr. Shivel. I just think of the American horses, I think he's the most reliable and the better performed one.
So Alistair goes for number 2, Dr. Shivel, agrees with Sarah, of course, ridden by Flavian Pratt. And take away that last of 7 at Santa Anita on Boxing Day, the 26th of December. You wouldn't have any doubts whatsoever, probably. But there's always that nagging doubt, isn't it? The horse finished last time. Charene, are you in agreement?
Yes, 1 more vote for number 2, Dr. Shivel, because I will be looking forward to his 4-year-old debut. He's a 2-time Grade 1 winner at Del Mar over 6 to 7 furlong on the dirt track. And even over the 6 furlong, his form was really even better. He scored 4 winners and 1 second over 6 furlong. And the one he was beaten was just beaten by nose. And also last time out, I think it was quite forgivable because he failed to lead. And this time, jumping from gate 9, I think that he has good enough gate speed to overcome the gate 9. So Dr. Shivel, for me, 1 more vote for him.
So 3 of us going for Dr. Shivel. I myself agreed with Joe and went for number 10, Red Lizelle, ridden by Yuga Kawada. He was a runner-up in this race last year. He's a consistent 6-year-old from Japan. It could be a great night for Japan, trained by Takayuki Yasuda. And the preparation is the same for the horse. He arrives here off the back of a run in the Tokyo February Cup. Ryan Muir rode him last year, but his regular pilot, as I said, Yuga Kawada, gets his opportunity this time. So just to recap, on race number 6, the Dubai Golden Shaheen on the dirt, sponsored by Atlantis Dubai. Sarah goes for number 2, Dr. Shivel. So does Joe. And Joe goes for number 10, Red Lizelle. And Alistair goes for number 2, Dr. Shivel. Charene also goes for number 2, Dr. Shivel. And I agree with Joe and take number 10, Red Lizelle, to go 1 better than last year. Fingers crossed there.